The screech of tires against wet asphalt pierced the rainy afternoon as Vincent Adams lunged forward, his calloused hands grasping the delicate shoulders of a woman who had been seconds away from disaster. The red sports car that had swerved onto the sidewalk missed them by inches, spraying dirty water over their huddled forms as Vincent shielded her with his body. "Daddy," cried a small voice from behind them. "Are you okay?" Vincent turned, his heart still racing, to see his 6-year-old daughter Emma standing frozen with wide eyes, clutching her pink backpack against her chest. "I'm fine, sweetie. Stay right there." The woman in his arms trembled slightly, her designer coat now stained with rainwater and mud. She looked up at him with startling green eyes, her short auburn hair plastered to her forehead. "You saved my life," she said breathlessly. Vincent helped her to her feet. "Are you hurt? That car was going way too fast for this weather." "I'm okay, just shaken." She straightened her posture, composing herself with remarkable quickness. "Thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't pulled me away." Emma approached cautiously, sidling up to her father's side and slipping her small hand into his. "Daddy has superhero reflexes," she said matter-of-factly. "He catches me when I fall off the monkey bars too." The woman smiled at Emma, then looked back at Vincent with a genuine warmth that seemed to cut through the chill of the rainy day. "I'm Sophia Bennett," she said, extending her hand. "Vincent Adams," he replied, taking her hand. Her grip was surprisingly firm for someone who just had a near-death experience. "And this is my daughter, Emma. Pleasure to meet you both, despite the circumstances." Sophia glanced down at her mud-splattered clothing and sighed. "I was heading to an important meeting, but I suppose that's out of the question now." Vincent noticed her elegant watch and the quality of her now ruined coat. "I'm sorry about your clothes. My apartment is just around the corner if you'd like to clean up a bit." The moment the words left his mouth, he regretted them. His tiny one-bedroom apartment with the fold-out couch where he slept so Emma could have the bedroom was nothing to offer to someone like her, but Sophia surprised him. "That would be incredibly kind of you, Vincent. I'd appreciate it." As they walked the short distance to his apartment, Vincent became acutely aware of their differences. His worn jacket and jeans next to her tailored, albeit muddy, attire. Emma chatted away, telling Sophia about her day at school, seemingly oblivious to any social distinction. Vincent unlocked the door to his apartment, quickly gathering stray toys from the living room floor. "It's not much, but it's home," he said, embarrassment coloring his voice. Sophia stepped inside, taking in the small but tidy space. Children's drawings adorned the refrigerator, and a stack of construction workers' manuals sat on the coffee table next to a pile of job applications. "It's lovely," she said sincerely. "Very homey." Vincent directed her to the bathroom while he made Emma a snack. When Sophia emerged, she had managed to clean most of the mud from her coat and had dried her hair. She looked elegant even in disarray. "I called my assistant to reschedule my meeting," she said, joining them in the kitchen. "The least I can do is buy you both dinner as a thank you." Emma's eyes lit up. "Can we, Daddy, please?" Vincent hesitated. His pride wanted to refuse, but the reality of his nearly empty refrigerator and the delight in his daughter's eyes won out. "That's very generous, but you don't have to, I insist," Sophia said, her tone warm but leaving no room for argument. "I owe you my life, Vincent. Dinner is the least I can offer." They ended up at a family-friendly pizza place a few blocks away. As Emma devoured her slice, Sophia and Vincent fell into surprisingly easy conversation. "So, what do you do, Vincent?" Sophia asked, delicately blotting her mouth with a napkin. "Construction, mostly. Between jobs right now." He didn't elaborate on how he'd been laid off 3 months ago when the development company downsized, or how he'd been piecing together handyman work to make ends meet. "Emma's school is my priority, so I need something with flexible hours." Sophia nodded thoughtfully. "Being a single parent must be challenging." "Emma's mother left when she was 2, Vincent said quietly, making sure his daughter was distracted with her coloring book. "It's been just us since then. What about you? What kind of meeting was important enough to brave this weather for?" Something flickered across Sophia's face, hesitation, perhaps. "I work in corporate development. Today was about a new project that could create jobs in this neighborhood, actually. That sounds interesting, Vincent said, though his mind was more on the past due rent notice waiting at home than on corporate projects. As the evening progressed, Vincent found himself increasingly drawn to Sophia. There was something compelling about the way she listened intently when he spoke, how she engaged with Emma on a level many adults didn't bother with, and the occasional glimpse of vulnerability beneath her composed exterior. When they parted ways outside the restaurant, Sophia surprised him again by handing him a business card. "If you're looking for work, call this number tomorrow. Ask for Mark in HR. Tell him I sent you." Vincent stared at the card. Bennett Innovations was embossed in sleek silver letters with no indication of Sophia's position there. "Thank you, that's very kind. It's selfish, actually," Sophia said with a small smile. "I'd like to see you again, Vincent, and Emma, of course." The next morning, Vincent called the number, expecting to leave a message. Instead, he was transferred immediately to Mark, who scheduled an interview for that afternoon. Vincent arranged for Emma to stay with a neighbor and put on his only suit, a slightly ill-fitting ensemble he'd purchased for a cousin's wedding years ago. Bennett Innovations occupied a gleaming tower in the financial district. Vincent felt out of place among the polished professionals streaming through the lobby. At reception, he gave his name and was directed to the 30th floor. Mark turned out to be a friendly middle-aged man who conducted a surprisingly brief interview. "Your construction experience is exactly what we're looking for in our facilities management team. The hours are standard with flexibility for family emergencies." "How does that sound?" Vincent was stunned. "It sounds perfect, but I haven't even told you about my qualifications yet." Mark smiled. "Miss Bennett personally recommended you. That carries significant weight here." "Miss Bennett." Vincent's confusion must have shown on his face. "Sophia Bennett," Mark clarified. "The CEO and founder." Vincent felt the floor shift beneath him. The woman he'd pulled from the path of a speeding car, who'd sat in his cramped apartment and eaten pizza with him and Emma, was the CEO of one of the city's fastest-growing tech companies. He left the interview with a job offer and a dazed expression. As he exited the building, a text message appeared on his phone from an unknown number. How did it go? Sophia. Vincent stopped on the sidewalk, pedestrians flowing around him as he stared at his phone. He typed back, "You didn't mention you were the CEO." Her response came quickly. "Would it have changed how you treated me?" He thought about it, then replied honestly, "Probably. I wouldn't have invited the CEO of Bennett Innovations to my shoebox apartment." 3 dots appeared then. "That's exactly why I didn't say anything. Coffee tomorrow." "There's a place near your new job." Vincent agreed, both excited and apprehensive. The next day, after dropping Emma at school, he met Sophia at a small cafe near the Bennett Innovations building. She was dressed in a tailored suit that probably cost more than his monthly rent, but her smile was the same warm one that had captivated him the day before. "I feel like I should apologize," she said after they'd ordered, "but I'm not actually sorry." It was refreshing to be treated like a normal person. "I'm still processing it," Vincent admitted. "Why would you want to help someone like me?" Sophia's expression grew serious. "Someone like you? You mean someone who risked his safety to save a stranger? Who clearly adores his daughter and is doing everything possible to give her a good life? Who treated me with kindness and respect without knowing I could offer anything in return?" She shook her head. "Vincent, people like you are rare." Vincent felt his cheeks warm under her gaze. "I just did what anyone would do." "Not true," she countered. "Most people would have frozen or worried about themselves first. You didn't. You protected me and then worried about your daughter. It says a lot about your character." Over the next few weeks, Vincent settled into his new job. The work was challenging but satisfying, and the salary allowed him to move Emma to a better apartment closer to her school. Sophia kept her distance. Professionally few at the company even knew their connection, but they began seeing each other outside of work. Their first official date was to a botanical garden. Emma came along, and Vincent watched in amazement as the powerful CEO who commanded a boardroom sat patiently on the grass, letting his daughter teach her how to make daisy chains. "She's remarkable," Sophia said later as they watched Emma run ahead on the path. She is, Vincent agreed proudly. She's been through a lot, but she stays so positive. I meant both of you, Sophia said softly. You've created something beautiful here, Vincent, a real family. Vincent looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not the CEO or the woman in designer clothes, but someone seeking the same connection he was. Would you like to be part of it? He asked, surprising himself with his boldness. Sophia's eyes widened slightly, then crinkled as she smiled. I'd like that very much. Their relationship progressed naturally from there. Sophia joined them for movie nights and Sunday pancakes. Vincent discovered her passion for architecture, which had led her to create innovative smart building technologies. She learned about his dreams of designing spaces that combined beauty and functionality, but their different worlds sometimes collided uncomfortably. The first time Vincent accompanied Sophia to a corporate gala, he felt the stares and whispers. He overheard one board member ask another, "Isn't that her facilities manager?" Sophia noticed his discomfort and squeezed his hand. "They're just jealous because you're the most handsome man here," she whispered. "They're wondering what you're doing with someone like me," he replied. Sophia turned to face him fully. "I'm falling in love with someone like you," she said clearly, not caring who overheard, "and if they can't see your worth, that's their loss." The words hung between them, a declaration neither had voiced until that moment. Vincent cupped her cheek gently. "I'm already in love with you," he admitted. "Have been since you sat in my kitchen and made Emma laugh." Their first kiss, witnessed by a roomful of corporate elites, became the gossip of the evening, but neither of them cared. As summer turned to fall, their lives became increasingly intertwined. Emma adored Sophia, especially after discovering she had once dreamed of being an astronaut, Emma's current obsession. Vincent watched their relationship grow with a mixture of joy and caution. He'd been burned before, and Emma had already lost one mother figure. His concerns surfaced one evening as they prepared dinner in Sophia's spacious apartment. Emma was building a rocket ship out of couch cushions in the living room. "What are we doing, Sophia?" he asked quietly, setting down the knife he'd been using to chop vegetables. She looked up from the sauce she was stirring. "Making lasagna, I mean with us, this relationship." He gestured around the luxury apartment. "Our worlds are so different, I can't help wondering if someday you'll wake up and realize you could be with someone who fits into your life better." Sophia turned off the burner and moved to stand in front of him. "Vincent Adams, do you know what I saw that day when you pulled me away from that car? I saw someone who acted without hesitation to protect a stranger. Later, I saw a father who would give anything for his daughter. A man of integrity and kindness." She took his hands in hers. "Those qualities are far rarer and more valuable than any amount of money or status." Vincent squeezed her hands. "I'm afraid of Emma getting hurt if this doesn't work out." "I understand that fear," Sophia said softly. "But I'm in this for the long haul, Vincent. I love you both." Their conversation was interrupted by Emma bouncing into the kitchen. "The rocket ship is ready for inspection. Commander Sophia." Sophia smiled at Vincent, a promise in her eyes before turning to Emma with an exaggerated salute. "Lead the way, Captain Emma." 2 weeks later, Vincent was helping Emma with her homework when his phone rang. It was Sophia, her voice tight with stress. "I need your help," she said. "The model for our new sustainable housing project collapsed during the board presentation. The unveiling is in 3 days, and our design team is saying they need at least a week to rebuild it." "What can I do?" Vincent asked, already reaching for his jacket. "You mentioned you used to build architectural models in college. Could you take a look? I'm desperate." An hour later, Vincent stood in Sophia's office examining the damaged model. The concept was brilliant, affordable, eco-friendly housing that could be built quickly in underserved areas, but the execution had flaws. "I can fix this," he said, looking up at Sophia, "but not by just repairing it. The structural design has issues. If this were built at full scale, it wouldn't hold up in high winds." Sophia's expression was a mixture of relief and concern. "Can you redesign it in time?" Vincent nodded slowly. "I think so, but I'll need help, and materials." "Whatever you need," Sophia said firmly. For the next 3 days, Vincent barely slept. He worked alongside Sophia's design team, who initially resisted his suggestions until they saw the improvements. Emma camped out in Sophia's office after school, doing her homework and occasionally offering 6-year-old design advice that made everyone smile. On the morning of the unveiling, Vincent presented the completed model to Sophia. The redesign maintained her vision but added structural elements that made the housing both stronger and more cost-effective. Tears shimmered in Sophia's eyes as she examined it. "This is better than I imagined," she said. "Vincent, this is brilliant." The unveiling was a success. Investors were impressed and pre-orders flooded in. Afterward, as the crowd thinned, Sophia pulled Vincent aside. "I want you to lead this project," she said. "Not as a facilities manager, but as head of design implementation." Vincent stared at her. "Are you serious?" "There must be dozens of more qualified people." "No one understands this project like you do," Sophia insisted. "You have the practical construction knowledge and the design vision. The team respects you after these past few days. This isn't about our relationship, Vincent. This is business." Vincent's mind raced with possibilities. It was the kind of opportunity he dreamed of but never thought possible without a degree from a prestigious university or years climbing the corporate ladder. "What about the board? Won't they think you're just favoring your boyfriend?" Sophia smiled. "The board saw your work today. They're the ones who suggested it. But if you're worried about perceptions, we can be completely transparent about our relationship and ensure all your evaluations come from other executives." Vincent thought about it, then nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll do it." The next months were a whirlwind of activity. Vincent threw himself into the housing project, traveling to potential sites and overseeing initial construction. Sophia was equally busy expanding Bennett innovations into new markets. Despite their hectic schedules, they maintained their relationship, carving out time for family dinners and weekend adventures with Emma. They faced challenges. Vincent's insecurities about their different backgrounds occasionally resurfaced, and Sophia sometimes struggled to balance her corporate responsibilities with their relationship, but they faced them together. On Christmas Eve, 6 months after that fateful rainy day, Vincent and Emma invited Sophia to their new apartment for dinner. The place was modest compared to Sophia's, but comfortable and filled with holiday decorations that Emma had insisted on putting up the day after Thanksgiving. After dinner, as Emma played with the new telescope Sophia had given her, Vincent handed Sophia a small wrapped package. "It's not expensive," he said nervously as she unwrapped it. Inside was a hand-carved wooden model of the three of them, posed in front of a tiny version of the first sustainable housing unit they'd built together. The craftsmanship was exquisite, capturing their likenesses with remarkable detail. "Vincent," Sophia breathed, tracing the figures with her fingertip. "Did you make this?" He nodded. "I've been working on it in the evenings. It's not just a gift, it's a question." Sophia looked up at him questioningly. Vincent took a deep breath. "These past months have shown me what's possible when you take a chance on someone. You took a chance on me, both professionally and personally, and it changed everything." He knelt beside her chair, taking her hand. "Sophia Bennett, will you take another chance and marry me? Be part of our family officially?" Tears spilled down Sophia's cheeks as she nodded. "Yes," she said. "Yes, 1,000 times." Emma, who had been pretending not to eavesdrop, let out a squeal and launched herself at them. "Does this mean Sophia will be my mom now?" Vincent looked at Sophia, who answered without hesitation. "If that's what you want, Emma, nothing would make me happier." "I've always wanted a mom who knows about rockets," Emma declared, making them both laugh through their tears. They were married the following spring in a ceremony that reflected their blended lives, elegant but unpretentious, with Emma as the flower girl proudly leading the procession. Vincent's construction colleagues mingled with Sophia's executive team, the distinctions between their worlds blurring in celebration. The sustainable housing project expanded beyond their initial projections, providing affordable homes for hundreds of families and earning recognition for its innovative design. Vincent's department grew, and he discovered a talent for mentoring young designers from diverse backgrounds. Sophia continued leading Bennett innovations with vision and purpose, but made changes to her work schedule to ensure family remained a priority. The company's new headquarters included a daycare center and flexible working arrangements that benefited all employees with families. 1 year after their wedding, they welcomed a son, Nathan, who inherited his father's thoughtful nature and his mother's determined spirit. Emma took her role as big sister seriously, already planning the scientific experiments she would teach him when he was old enough. On the 5th anniversary of the day, Vincent pulled Sophia from the path of a speeding car. They returned to the same street corner. The neighborhood had transformed partly due to their housing initiative, which had revitalized the area without displacing its original residents. "Do you ever think about how different our lives would be if that car hadn't sped too close that day?" Sophia asked, her hand warm in Vincent's. He looked at her, then at Emma, showing Nathan how to splash in a puddle nearby. "Sometimes, but I think we would have found each other somehow." "Some things are just meant to be," Sophia smiled, resting her head against his shoulder. "A struggling dad and a CEO falling in love. People would say it only happens in stories." "Good thing we wrote our own," Vincent replied, kissing her forehead. As they walked home together, the family Vincent had fought so hard to protect, and the woman who had seen his worth from the beginning, he reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From a moment of danger had come the greatest gift of his life, a love built on respect, understanding, and the courage to bridge different worlds. And as Emma raced ahead, Nathan toddled after her, and Sophia's hand remained firmly in his. Vincent knew with absolute certainty that he was exactly where he belonged.